Hey everybody, it's Kate Beeders, your breakthrough expert, and we're having a few technical glitches. I tried it on my iPhone and the sound wasn't working. Um, so can you just let me know if you can hear me? I'm now trying it on my laptop, see if that is any better. So somebody let me know. I just want to make sure you can hear me. I'm getting a thumbs up, yay. You guys can hear me, you can see a lot. You never can tell, right? Sometimes the iPhone's good, sometimes the laptop's good. It's crazy, crazy internet. Anyways, I thought it'd be fun to do some tapping today, some impromptu tapping. And here I am in my t-shirt. Does anyone else, when they're at home, do you come on, admit it? I won't tell anybody. Is anyone else, when you're at home, you work like in a t-shirt and shorts or t-shirt and jeans, and it's like, come on, when I was in corporate, it was all about dressing professionally. And I think one of the perks of being an entrepreneur is that we get to dress how we want to dress, right? Would you guys agree? So let me know who's here. Say hi, and do me a favor, if you've tapped before, because we can do some tapping. Put a 1 in. If you've never tapped, put a 2 in, because then I know how much explanation to give about tapping, because we're going to do some tapping in a minute. And I can see a whole bunch of you have joined. So just let me know, 1, if you've tapped before, 2, if you've never tapped before, because if everyone here has tapped before, I don't need to go into a huge, long explanation. And if you have never tapped before, I want to just at least explain a little bit. And I'm here with my girl. She likes to keep me company. She keeps me in line. And oh, and also just to show you guys, because I'm so proud of this, my book, which has been out now, I don't know, about a month and a half, and I had my book launch at a bookstore, and I've got another book signing coming up. Where is it? In Northborough, Massachusetts. So I'm very, very excited this Sunday. So if you live out in that part of the state, come by, say hi, and meet me in person, and that'll be really cool. So I see some people have tapped before, some haven't. So let me just kind of explain to you. I'm going to give you the nickel version, because I want to dive into tapping, and just kind of give you the nickel version of what tapping is. And Heidi, you loved it. I see Robin, you've never tried it. Anyone else who's listening tried it, not tried it? 1, if you've tapped before, 2, if you've never tapped. And also 2, you may have tapped, but I tap a little bit differently too. I'm very highly trained, so you may see me mix some things in and do things, and that's because there's a method to my madness, as the expression goes. So what tapping really is, in a nutshell, is, have you ever wondered, like, what, like, logically, like, something, and you're like, okay, if I know this, if I know that, like, I need to eat healthy, or I know that I need to stop procrastinating, or I know I need to whatever, whatever, whatever. I mean, it, right? It isn't like somebody is teaching you something brand new and you're like, how come I get stuck? That's when we would use tapping. If you also, I'll give you an example. One of my clients that I worked with this week, she didn't realize she was holding herself back. And then all of a sudden, after we did some tapping, she's like, I can't believe I've been staying stuck in my comfort zone all this long about this thing, because she had convinced herself. So what tapping does is, tapping is a very, very powerful technique. I use it when I speak on stages. I use it with my clients privately, when I do my live events. So if you come to Conversations to Clients Live this upcoming month, you'll get to experience tapping. Whenever I work with people, I do tapping, because I find that I can teach them all this really cool stuff, but there's stories that they have that, from past experiences of how life is, how they've experienced life, limiting beliefs, and limiting beliefs are how you view yourself in relationship to the world. So saying, like, women don't, or men don't, or no one in my community does, or no one in my industry does, or whatever story you're telling yourself. This can't be done. My industry, just don't do this. Those kinds of things. And then also with core beliefs, and core beliefs are how you view yourself, in, that saying to yourself, like, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, if I charge too much money, people won't like me, or they'll get mad at me, or if I set boundaries, they'll get mad, or if I don't give them this for free, they'll get mad. All these things you tell yourself. I used to tell myself in the beginning that, because I came out of corporate and we had PCs, and whenever there was a problem, we would just like call them and say, hey, can you come fix it? My computer's sticking or freezing or won't turn on or won't turn off. And they would run, no, well, not run, but I'm exaggerating, but they would come over and fix it. So when I started my own business, I used to call myself, I used to say I wasn't very technologically savvy, because my experience was I wasn't. So what I realized is I was actually holding myself back. And once I shifted my story through tapping about myself, it just that I just didn't know a lot about technology, that made me more experimental, which allowed me to feel now very comfortable on, my Mac, feel comfortable on my iPhone. I buy all sorts of different software. Of course, now I give the difficult stuff to my team because I'm too busy for it, but it totally changed how I look at myself. So that's why you use tapping. And again, if you're just joining us, if you've tapped before, yep, Lynn. Lynn, yep, you've tried it and it's helped you resist temptations. Heidi, thank you for loving my book. I appreciated it. That's why I wrote this book. I really want people to get some really good, juicy stuff out of it. So if you're just joining us, if you've tapped before, do a 1. If you've never tapped, 2, just so I know as I'm kind of explaining and doing all this. So tapping is meant to be a very, very gentle technique. It's not meant to upset you. Like there's some things that if, let's say, you have a fear of heights or fear of elevators. Well, what they used to do is have you go up and down an elevator like 100 times and figure by, the 99th time, you'd be less scared and you'd be able to go in the elevator. But in the meantime, those first 99 times, you're shaking, you're probably sweating, you're all scared, you're nervous, your anxiety level's off the chart. Tapping is meant to be a very, very gentle technique. It's not meant to freak you out. It's not meant to stress you out or upset you. And so what I especially say, especially when I do tapping like this, where it's over the internet, so we're not together, we're not working together privately, that I say to you, if for some reason it bothers you, simply stop. Just because I don't have the wherewithal to help you. You can hear Callie right there. Callie hasn't learned how to tap yet, although I have tried tapping on her. And actually, there are people who have businesses that they tap on your animals. Isn't that kind of cool? You want to go down, Tap? No, she doesn't want to go down. She's being cranky. Don't be cranky. Does anyone else's dogs ever get cranky every now and then? She does. Maybe I will say, I know what to do. I'm going to just give her a treat. That will get her to be uncranky. She's usually the perfect girl, of course, right? So what I want to do today is come here, Callie. Here, honey. Here, come. Oh, see, everyone can see Callie. Now Callie's say bye-bye. Okay, Callie's come down. So what I want to do today is I want to do a little bit of tapping on stress. Because if you're an entrepreneur and you're feeling stressed, can you wave your hand or give me a heart or a like or something? Because I don't know any entrepreneurs who aren't feeling a lot of stress, right? I mean, stress is kind of very often part of the of what we think goes hand in hand. So what just to give you an example of what's going on for me today is that I got up early. I had an acupuncture appointment because I had pulled back muscle. And so acupuncture, up early for acupuncture. Well, first I went for a walk, then I had acupuncture, got home, I've already had 3 client sessions, then feeding my girl, taking her for a walk, and then getting ready for this. And then I've got a client session after this and another session. And then I'm meeting with the event planner for my upcoming event. So busy day, right? And then my team, who I absolutely love to get to death, my team rocks. I have the best team in the world. I have a million emails of things I've got to respond back about, worksheets and the binder and the PowerPoint and this and that, because when you do something like an event, there's lots and lots of parts and pieces that have to go on. Not to mention the fact that I've been getting emails about people wanting me to speak in the fall at their events and this thing and that thing. So there's a lot of juggling in parts and pieces. And I'm going, well, shoot, if I'm feeling a bit stressed, and I've done this before, this isn't brand new for me, then I'll bet all of you could benefit from just a bit of tapping on stress. So what I'd like to ask you to do, and again, if you've tapped before, give me a 1. And if you've never tapped, do it 2, just so I know. So what I'm going to do first is I want to ask you just to think about right now how high your stress level is. So I'm getting a heart, so I don't know if that means that your stress level is off the chart. So, which does happen as entrepreneurs. That's why there's a lot of really amazing stress management coaches out there. So, anyways, what I want to say is that just think about your stress, and let's just take it for today, right? We don't have to think about all the stress in your life, but just today, are you feeling kind of stressed, overwhelmed, too much to do? It's like you really need about 30 hours in the week to do everything. And just kind of give it a rating, and no one's judging you, so it doesn't matter what your rating is. And 0, like, hey Kate, I'm not stressed at all, life is a breeze, and I'm just sitting back just enjoying my life, and life's awesome, right? 10, like, you're feeling like, maybe you didn't sleep too good last night because you're thinking about how am I going to get everything done. Maybe you're worried today about how you're getting through things. Maybe things aren't going the way you want. And as a result, you find yourself getting distracted, you're procrastinating, you're working on things that you don't really need to work on instead of the stuff you really need to work on. And it could even be off a 10. It could be a 15 or 20 or 30. Again, it's just your own way of just measuring the number. I would say for me personally right now, because I actually slept really well last night, so I'm not at a 10, but I'm not at a 1 because otherwise I wouldn't be even bringing this up. So I would say I'm probably a 5, going like, shoot, I've got a lot to do. I'm feeling, like, okay, I've got to come up with a plan to get all this done. And I find myself getting a little bit, doing a little bit of avoidance on my free minutes in between, like, doing random things instead of what's kind of important. So give yourself a number, write it down. Okay, and this is just, again, no judgment. We're not comparing numbers. This is just for you to get a sense of where you are right now. So I want to walk you through the points that I use for tapping. And the points I'm going to show you today are a karate chop, and that's where you take the side of one hand and you tap the side of the other. So you're tapping the side where, they used to do like this, like karate chop. Doesn't matter which hand. Sometimes I tap this way. Sometimes I tap this way. It doesn't matter. It's whatever feels comfortable to you. You can switch them off if you want. Okay, so that's a karate chop. The next point, and you're using 2 fingers, kind of like if you're a Boy Scout or Girl Scout, you're tapping the inner eye, and that's right where your eyebrow begins, both eyes. Outer eye, where your eyebrow ends, right in that bone there. Then you're taking your fingers and you're moving under your eye. You're tapping right there. Then one hand, again, doesn't matter which hand, whatever you're more comfortable, tap right under your nose. Chin point, right where your indent is, right there, tap there. Collarbone, you can feel your collarbones here. And so about 1 inch below, take about 3 or 4 of your fingers and you're just tapping right there. Underarm, there's 2 ways of doing it. You're tapping basically like 4 inches below your armpit. So you can either tap like this to hit the points, or you can cross your hands, whatever's more comfortable. And I guess it depends on how chesty you are armed, right? What's more comfortable for you. Then there's a liver point, and I'll show you. The liver point is, let's see, it's such a flattering photo, right where your underwire bra ends, so you're tapping right under there. Okay, that's the liver point. And then you're tapping your wrist point, and just for ease sake, I'm just going to have you tap your 2 wrists against each other. And then top of the head, you're just tapping up and down in the crown of your head. So those are the tapping points, and now we're going to just do a round of tapping. I've been fighting allergies, so I'm just going to take a sip of my tea. And if you're joining us, we're tapping on stress. And if you've tapped before, give me a 1 in the post. And if you've never tapped, give me a 2, just so I know how much explanation to do. And again, if you just joined us, remind you, be responsible for your emotions. That if this happens to stress make you more uncomfortable, then simply just stop tapping. That's because we're not together. We're over the internet, and I can't help you if you are feeling that way. Tapping is actually meant to feel very, very gentle. Okay, so we're going to start with a karate chop, and follow along with me. Again, doesn't matter which hand you're doing. Okay, so tapping along, and you repeat after me. So it's kind of like Simon Says. What we're doing is we're saying certain phrases, and we're tapping on some of those meridian points that I just showed you. Okay, if you've got glasses, I would also recommend taking your glasses off, just because when we're tapping around the eye, it's pretty awkward to get into your points. Plus, you end up smudging your glasses, and that's not good. Okay, so we're going to start on the karate chop. And again, you're just joining me. 1 if you've tapped before, 2 if you've never tapped. Okay, so karate chop, and repeat after me. Even though, and if you're just joining us, we're tapping on stress. So even though I'm feeling stressed today, So repeat after me as while we're tapping. I want to find a way to love and accept myself. And we're going to stay on this point. Even though I'm feeling some stress today, maybe even more than some, because I have a really, really long to-do list, I want to find a way to love and accept myself. Even though I'm feeling stress, and whether this stress is a good or bad thing, I want to find a way to love and accept myself and find a way to let it go. Okay, everybody, just going to shake your hands out like you got them wet, no towels to wipe your hands on. And we're going to go to the eyebrow points, starting there. Again, tap where I tap, repeat after me. All the stress. And now the outer eye, all the stress. Now your under eye, all the stress. Your chin point, all the stress. I'm sorry, this is a chin point, all the stress. Collarbone, I've been feeling so much stress today. Underarm, it was even hard for me to sleep last night. Liver point, I was worrying about all I had to do. Wrist point, so my sleep was very, very restless. Top of the head, and I woke up worrying. Inner eye, about all I had to do. Outer eye, as I look at my list today, under eye, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Nose, under nose, I don't even know how I'm going to get it all done. Chin point, it seems too much for me to do. Collarbone, it seems too much for any human being to do. Underarm, why did I give myself so many things to do? Liver point, it's way too much for any human being. Wrist point, especially me. Top of the head. And so that just causes me a lot of stress, overwhelm, anxiety, nervousness. Under nose, as a result, I end up procrastinating. Chin point, I avoid some of these things. Collarbone, maybe I don't do a good job. Underarm, maybe I tell myself I don't need to do them all. Liver point, I have tons and tons of excuses. Wrist point. But I'd rather find a better way, top of the head, to release the stress in a way that feels good. Outer eye, in a way that feels safe. Under eye, in a way that actually calms me down. Under nose, in a way that really resonates. Chin point, because being stressed isn't helping me. Collarbone, feeling stressed out isn't helping me at all. Underarm, I don't like how I feel. Liver point, and it's not doing me any good. Wrist point, so I'm open and ready. Top of the head, to let some of this stress go. Okay, everybody, what I want you to do now is take a really deep breath, inhale through your nose, and then let really slowly through your mouth, and picture yourself releasing some of these stressed out feelings. And then think about your number, how stressed out you feel today. Now, most of you, like me, are going to feel really good and start feeling lighter, happier. There are going to be some of you that may have noticed your number dropping down, right? Because you're feeling better, you feel like you're releasing some of this. Some of you may even notice your number going sideways or staying the same, maybe even going up. That's not necessarily a bad thing. What that means typically is that new thoughts are popping up. Maybe all of a sudden you're remembering, oh, I got to do this thing and I got to do that thing. Doesn't mean that the tapping doesn't work. It's just like a flag, an inner flag saying, hey, pay attention to me. So write those down, write those thoughts that pop up, because those are things we want to work on and clear out. So if you're just joining and you've tapped before, please do a 1. If you've never tapped, do a 2. And that was, I wanted to give you an easy example to start releasing your stress, because I already feel good and I feel more relaxed and I feel like, okay, this is my lunch break. I'm like ready to take on the rest of the afternoon, because my afternoon is just as full as my morning. And what I tend to do is, whether I'm working with a client one-on-one, or you're at my event, like Conversations to Clients Live, which is next month, is that after we do a round of tapping, I'll ask people, like, what popped up for you? What thoughts? What and so then the next round, I'll be pulling those things in to help release more of that. So if someone says, I remember, I never ever get through my to-do list, or someone else says, I always give myself way too much to do, and then I feel like a jerk at the end of the day because I didn't get anything done. So whatever's popping up for the people I'm working with, we pull that in and do more tapping. So ultimately, if your number was like at an 8, it keeps going lower and lower and lower and lower. And it's really, really cool how that all works. It's really cool. And I know I want to just actually, before I forget, put in here the link for, oops, we go back, like talking and walking at the same time. And so that's the event next month for those of you who are interested. And through the end of this month, ending midnight May 31st, if you use that code, YES17, you will actually save almost $700 on your registration, which is like huge, huge. But June 1st, it goes away. So if this is interesting you, if you want to learn how you can attract more ideal clients, learn what to say to get them, so basically they understand why you're worth so much and they pay you what you're worth, which is really huge, because I can't tell you how many times I talk to people who say that everybody they attract has no money. So if that's you, we got to shift it up, because that means your energy is in a scarcity place, and we want to change your money story so you're showing from abundance. Because if you're coming from abundance, you're going to attract people who are feeling abundant, right? And we're going to be going through the objections about money, time, all that kind of stuff that pops up, because typically what happens is most people do not know how to overcome objections. And like what most people tend to do is like go, okay, that's all right, call me when you got the money, or call me when you got the time, or call me when, whatever. And we all know what happens. Nobody calls at that time. So I want to help you kind of work through all that and understand to not get caught up in somebody's story, so you're able to actually help them overcome that objection, which means you're doing them a service as opposed to leaving them in that bad place. And if anyone has any questions at all about this event, please email my team. I'm happy to talk to you. I'll give you that link right here. And you can either email your question, or we could hop on a real quick call, see if this is the right fit for you, because I'm very results oriented. I always want to make sure the right people are in the room. So let me just see if there's any questions. I'm just going to go here. Let's just take a look. Let's see. Oops, where is this? So what happens when I've got all these things going, iPhone and laptop and all sorts of stuff. Multitasking. Okay, so are there any questions? So basically, just to kind of explain in a nutshell, I just want to kind of pull the tapping back, is that tapping, I've used tapping on pretty much anything. Anywhere from people who have fear of public speaking, to fear things won't work, to charging more money, to releasing old money stories, to being able to stop procrastinating, to take action that they've never done before, to delegate, to hire team members, to create partnerships, to you name it. I've pretty well tapped on it in my career. So it's just amazing, because the truth is that a lot of this stuff is really already out there, but I find that when I do the mindset work and help you shift your thoughts, your beliefs, your stories around it, that's when you get the results. And the thing I do know for a fact is that there's so many amazing, amazing people out there who are talented, whether it's your own service or product, whether you're representing someone else's that you just totally believe in, that if you don't know how to do all this, you're like the world's best kept secret. And I don't think any of you want to be the world's best kept secret. I think you want everyone knowing, like, hey, you got to hear about this. You got to go to Kate's event. You got to work with Kate. That's what I want to hear over and over again. I don't want people to think I've been hiding under a rock, right? So that's where I'm able to use tapping. And that's why so many people who've tried things before in the past, and haven't gotten results, that when they work with me, they see the shifts because I'm able to uncover. I have this gift of being able to kind of quickly uncover what's holding them back. So I just want to see if there are any questions before I go and eat my lunch before my next client call. So I'm just checking right here. And please share this with anybody you think who might enjoy trying some tapping, because the whole point is that one round will make you feel good. What I love to do when I have the time is keep doing more and more and more tapping, so it keeps clearing and clearing and clearing and clearing things out, which allows you to go through your day feeling calm and in control. And when you're calm and in control, you get more done, you're more creative, you get better results, you're happier, life is good, you don't do all that emotional eating or emotional shopping or any of that other kind of stuff. So I want to thank you for being here. Please share this. And until we meet again, everybody, be brilliant. Bye now.